Have you ever poured used cooking oil down the sink like this girl? Or throwing trash or greasy food scrap into our environment? Did you know it's a big no-no?
So why it is a problem? First, it block pipe. When you pour used cooking oil or greasy food scrap down the sink, the oil may seem to disappear, but it doesn't dissolve in water. Instead, it cools and hardens inside pipes sticking to the inner walls, and over time, it builds up and restricts water flow, which can further cause first, slow drain of food blockage of water, backflow of the dirty water, the needs for professional plumbing services that can be costly. And second one is polluted water. It will form oily layers that suffocate aquatic life. It may even block sunlight and oxygen from going through the water. In fact, even small amount of oil can coat fish gills, feather of birds, and the surface of plant, causing long-term harm. And the third one, it can increase water treatment costs, time, and energy, which is so wasteful. So, in this section, we're gonna talk about in detail about where does it go. So, when we pour used cooking oil down the sink, it travels through our pipe, stick to the wall, and begin to harden. Over time, this sticky residue combined with other waste like soap, food scraps, and even hair, creating thick blockage in our drainage system. This blockage can lead to clogged pipes at home and on a larger scale, form massive fatberg in city sewers, costing government millions to clean and causing sewage overflow that can flood streets and homes. If the oil escapes into the drains or river, it floats on the surface and forms a thin oily film that blocks oxygen and sunlight from reaching the aquatic life. This suffocates fish, plants, disturb ecosystem, and pollutes our precious water resource. So, when I talk about the cost by the government that they have to pay, it also comes from the taxpayer. And who is the taxpayer? It's you. And you are going to carry the burden too. So, likewise, when we throw leftover food or trash directly into rivers or into the environment, it doesn't simply decompose. Some material release harmful substances into the soil and water. Plastic stays for decades, choking animals and leaching toxic chemicals. Organic waste, especially when dumped in large amounts, can lead to excessive algae growth known as eutrophication, which reduce oxygen in the water and cause mass fish death. In the end, this everyday action, often done out of convenience or habits, quietly damage the environment we all depend on. But small changes can protect our river, wildlife, and even our home. It starts with awareness. It starts with us. So, what can we do with the used cooking oil? Firstly, we can reuse the cooking oil, of course within limits. First, we need to filter the food particle using fine mesh and store it in an airtight container with labeled date and usage count. And you can use up to 3 to 4 times more according to the research. And next, we can collect and store it in a container and send it to the nearby oil recycling center like Petronas, IPC, or private collectors. And the last one, you can harden the oil before disposing of the oil in the bin instead of pouring it down the sink. What we are doing to the forests of the world is but a mere reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. Mahatma Gandhi.
So remember, it's better to avoid than cure.